made as a team through the first 3 games. I think, sometimes you lose sight of the fact that we are 3-0. We have, improved in a lot of areas of our team, and we'll continue to focus on the technical aspects of what we need to do to improve in some other areas, get some mistakes and mental errors corrected, and continue to try to develop, the players so that they have a better opportunity of being successful in whatever we have to defend, or whatever we have to attack on offense, or whatever we have to play against our special teams. Now, we had some players that played really well in this game. Jalen, Damian Harris, Bo Scarborough, Bradley Bozeman on offense, Keith Holcomb, Levi Wallace, Deron Payne on defense, special teams, J.K., Mac Wilson, Andy, all did a good job, in their particular areas. From an injury standpoint, I don't know what the status of these guys will be. We'll see how they progress through the week, but Rashawn Evans and Anthony Jennings and Dylan Moses will all return to practice today. Miller Forsall is out. What we thought was the issue in the case after the game is the case, and he will need surgery. We certainly look forward to the SEC. This is our opener on the road against a very good Vanderbilt team who, as you all know, just beat K-State, who was a ranked team, and they are 3-0. They have a lot of starters back, 9 on offense, 7 on defense. Their defense leads the nation in scoring defense, and Cal Shermer is the leading passing efficiency quarterback in our league. They do a great job in terms of their coaching and how they attack people, how they play on offense and defense. Very sound, very well coached in all areas, and very balanced in terms of run pass. And they've got 3 receivers that all pretty much share in how they spread the ball around. So this is a very good overall team, and probably a team that deserves to be in the top 25.
Okay, we'll start back with Cecil.
Coach, this is kind of a layman question, but looking at Vanderbilt defensively, they come out as really odd fronts sometimes, guys in different places, different looks. Could you sort of explain to us what they're doing defensively and how you approach that?
Well, I think, most of the stuff that they do that is exotic is on loose play downs. But I think what they're trying to do is create issues in the offensive line. All offensive linemen want to know who the 4 down and the mic are. That's who we have to block. All right, so when they're doing these kinds of things, it makes it much more difficult for them to ID the front and know who to block. So it's creating confusion to some degree, but also they do a good job from a schematic standpoint of being able to attack you out of those things and get pressure, and they've got some really good players to do it.
We'll come back over here with Chandler.
A couple of the defensive guys told us after the game Saturday they were going to have a come to Jesus meeting today. They wanted it to be only defensive players. What is your philosophy on player-only meetings? Do you go to the leaders of the defense and maybe encourage that, or do you leave it to them?
I think it's really up to the players, but I also think that every player's got to look at what they have to do to try to improve and get better. I think everybody can contribute in a more positive way by just a little better execution. The effort was good in the game. The toughness was good in the game. And really, for 3 quarters in the game, we played pretty well against a pretty good offensive team. We just didn't finish the game like we needed to. So I don't think anybody needs to be panicking. And, I think the leadership on the team is making an attempt to affect other players, maybe to prepare a little bit better, eliminate some of the mental errors, play together as a unit, communicate a little better. These are all things that the coaches will certainly emphasize to the players to try to help them play better. It's our responsibility to get that across. But we don't want these things to be like feel-good meetings where everybody feels good when they leave, but they were concerned when they started. So, you know, could be good or bad depending on how it's handled.
Come back in the middle with Michael.
Going back to the film, when you look at that, how did they do defensively and offensively on third down? How did that efficiency look?
Well, I think you guys get stat sheets after the game. I mean, you see what they did on third down. I mean, they do very well on third down. When you get off the field on third down, we actually had 3 penalties that gave them first downs, you know, on third down in really critical situations and critical drives, especially in the fourth quarter. So we need to do a better job, you know, in those areas. And I think we're very capable of doing that, and we'll continue to work on it.
Back here on the right with Ben.
What kind of role can guys like Levi Wallace or Jamie Mosley have in defense as they kind of try and form an identity on that side of the ball?
Well, Levi plays corner, so the best identity he can do is coverage guy. Jamie Mosley has done a good job of doing his job, and we're pleased with the way he's been able to fill in and prepare well, not make a lot of mental errors, be in the right place. So, you know, I think that he plays with a lot of effort and a lot of toughness, and you know, that's kind of what we start with and what we build on around here. So, you know, you like to reinforce all those things in a positive way.
On the left side with John.
I know you haven't played Vanderbilt with Coach Mason there, but can you kind of tell they had a lot of returning starters? They're more familiar with this system. Can you kind of see that on film, their maturity?
Oh yeah, no question. I mean, they do a great job of executing on both sides of the ball. And I think the results that they've gotten so far this season certainly bear that out. The quarterback's a really good player. And he's very efficient in what he does with their offense, run and pass. They make some explosive plays. They run the ball effectively. They're physical. Same way on defense. So there's no question about the buy-in to the program and the job that he's done there.
We'll come back over here on the right with Charlie Park.
You mentioned how 3 of your injured linebackers will return to practice today. How much can their potential return to the field help your defense?
Well, that remains to be seen. You know, first of all, we don't know how healthy those guys are going to be and how fast they'll get up to top speed, and we won't know that until later in the week in terms of we see how their, you know, sort of rehab's going, and, you know, try to make a decision on how we can use them in the game and how effective they can be.
Up front, right here with Mark.
Just want to get your opinion on how the secondary is held up in coverage, and also we've seen a few corner blitzes. How do you think those guys have done in terms of timing those and trying to get home?
Well, you know, we got pressure a couple times last week. The ball came out quick on screens and so forth, and we missed tackles, and so we need to clean some of those things up. But all in all, we have not gotten the kind of pressure on the quarterback and affected the quarterback the way we want to, regardless of who's blitzing. We've seen a whole lot of screens to try to slow us down. And I think that we just have to play those plays and continue to be aggressive and try to affect the quarterback. I think that's really, really important when you play against a good passing quarterback, which certainly is going to be the case this week.
Up front here with Dwayne.
Coach, you said before the season about Mink it would be up to the other guys, how they play to determine where he would play. Through 3 games, are you comfortable where you have him right now on the field, or do you feel like maybe he could help you in a different spot?
No, I'm pleased with where we are right now. Rudy's played really well. Ronnie's played well. You know, the 2 corners have been okay so far, and so you know, we're comfortable with him playing where he's played. This team will be in a lot more regular. You know, this week probably about 80% of the time in regular downs, which we haven't played against much, and you know, so he'll be back to safety for the most part in that part of the game.
Left side with Reiner.
It's been a really long time since you guys have committed a turnover since the Iron Bowl last year. How much has that related to the fact that Jalen has really, you know, even improved his ball security and just, and how would you describe his decision making?
Well, he's done a good job so far. I think his production has improved in every game. His efficiency has improved in every game. He would be the first to tell you there's things that he can work on, like every player on our team. And we're certainly going to try to help him do that so that he can continue to develop and progress and be even more efficient in what he does. But you know, we harp on ball security. The first thing we do in practice every day is ball security drills. We include him in those drills, and he has done a much better job of taking care of the football, and we've done a really good job of that on offense as a whole.
Back middle there with VUA.
Hey, Coach, how would you evaluate the place kicking through 3 games? How's Andy progressed through these 3 games?
I think he's done a nice job. I mean, we missed a long one. JK hit it well. I was hopeful that we would get an opportunity so that JK would get a chance to kick. So, you know, I'm pleased with it so far. He's done a good job. He's done especially good job in the area, you know, inside the 42-yard line, 42-yard field goals, which is kind of, you know, what our expectation is for him. So I think he's done a really good job so far.
Go here in the middle with Alex.
What have you seen from Ralph Webb? He's one of those guys that's been around the league for a long time. Vanderbilt's running back Webb. Just how have you seen him kind of grow in his career? And this year, maybe it actually hasn't been what it's been in the past, but he's still up there.
Yeah, he's a good player. I mean, they do a good job of running the ball. They're physical on the offensive line. He's a really good downhill runner. He's physical. These guys play hard. You know, he runs with a lot of toughness and tenacity, and I think he's a really good player.
Last two, Tarrant and Scott.
How much have you seen out of Vandy's defense, specifically the secondary, so far?
Well, you know, I go through the course of the week. I haven't watched their defense a whole lot, just in one game, but they've done an outstanding job. I mean, to give up 95 yards a game passing is pretty good, regardless of what the competition is. So they play extremely well, but their front does a good job of protecting the quarterback as well.
Okay, we'll finish things off with Scott in the back.
Nick, I was curious, since you're a secondary guy, defensive guy, I know turnovers are great. Does it mean more when you have something like we did the other night with tip balls and different things as opposed to just a straight pick? It means
well, I think a pick is a pick, so you're always happy when you're a DB to get one, no matter how it comes to you. But I do think that when you have people breaking on the ball, that those opportunities will come along, and that's something that we always try to emphasize with our players, that, hey, you're going to break on the ball 25 times, and then all of a sudden there's going to be a tip ball or something where you're going to have an opportunity to make a play on the ball, and you got to do it every time so that you're there when the opportunity presents itself. And you know, we need to really emphasize attacking the football. We have not created, and we've got some interceptions, but we haven't created the turnovers that we'd like, and that's something that we really emphasize and really want to continue to do as we go into SEC play and hopefully get a little better result.
Okay, thanks, Coach.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Coach.